have no idea what this video is going to be about, but I need to let myself speak because I feel like a pressure cooker and I'm going to explode if I don't just like let it out and not feel like I have to stick on a specific topic. That is one thing that has been making me feel insane about filming videos. You have to stay on topics and like in a box and in niches, and I'm like, I can't do that. And I've shared how much I hate being put in a box and be in a niche and all of that, and so many people say like,
just do whatever you want, we'll watch.
But no, that is not the truth, because my views fluctuate immensely when I hop around topics. And so when there's a topic that tends to do well, the algorithm and the people tuning in want more of that kind of video. And I cannot stick to one kind of video or I will go insane. Hello, I'm Annie, and if you don't know, I have ADHD, and it's not just a cool thing that I say, because I know a lot of people say like,
oh, I probably have ADHD.
But like, no, I genuinely have ADHD, and it is a big blessing because I have like a Ferrari mind and it can come up with really great ideas, but it also is so fast that my mouth and my body and my actions can't keep up with my mind at times. And if there's something that my mind or like that I don't want to do, but I'm supposed to do it, but I don't want to do it, it's like everything in me tenses up and tightens up, and I just like can't. That is why it's been so hard to film videos recently, because I'm like, there's so many rules. I was just working with a guy who was trying to help me with my titles and thumbnails, and he was trying to kind of advise me to stick to certain categories, like not so much vlogging and tiny house videos, but manifestation and trying weird products, because those are the things that have done well on my channel. And that just like made me like, tense up so much. That sounds like torture. I cannot just be stuck in a box. Speaking of having ADHD, I wish I could explain what it's like. Again, I can come up with the most brilliant ideas, but it's so hard for me to translate the things going on in my mind because my brain moves faster than my mouth, and the words and the ideas don't come through my mouth the way that they are in my mind. The best way I could describe it is like I have layers upon layers of thoughts, and oftentimes they're like supporting the same idea, but they're like simultaneously layers upon layers of thoughts supporting the same ideas, some in sentence form, some visual form, and there's so many of them and they form the big picture. But it's like, to describe all of that, I can't get that out in like a sentence or a paragraph. Like, I needed an hour to just describe that one singular thing going on in that moment. Does that even make sense? If you have ADHD, maybe it does. If you don't, maybe it doesn't make sense. That's the best way I can describe it. Sometimes it puts me in this like freeze state, paralysis, because there's so much going on up here that my body's just like overwhelmed. You know, like if you're on the phone with someone and you have them on speaker, maybe you both have each other on speaker, and you get that echo back where you hear yourself back, but it's delayed a second or a couple of seconds, and it makes your brain feel like so jumbled and disoriented. ADHD, that is a similar experience. It's not that exactly like I'm getting echoed back to, but it's like how you feel when that happens. So some days I get a lot of things done, and some days I'm just like stuck and I can't do anything because that's what's happening in my body and in my mind. And I also, another thing that's popping up into my mind that I want to say right now is, I'm not sharing this for suggestions or feedback. I genuinely hate when people do that. Like, someone commented on something and they're like, they said something about like,
I've noticed this for the last 2 years, and
I'm like, you don't know what's going on in my life. I am feeling this way right now, but that doesn't mean I feel this way all the time. That's another thing. Sometimes I don't want to just express myself like this because I feel like people might just, and I hate people assuming. Everyone assumes. I hate it. I don't want people to assume that this is how I'm feeling at all times. But I have had more waves of this in the last few years than I did previously when I was living in California. And again, I can just hear and I can see people going,
you should have never left California. You should
Like, I don't want your opinions. Not you. You watching right there that I'm connecting with. You're not opinionated and telling me what to do. I am a Sagittarius. I'm a Leo rising. I'm a Cancer moon. But I got a lot of fire in my chart and we don't like being told what to do. And that goes with, again, feeling like I have to film videos on specific things. See how my mind hops around all over the place? I don't even know what I touched on and what I didn't. That's part of it too. I will have pieces in my mind that I'm like, I'm not sure if I've spoken this piece out there. It's been floating around there, but I don't know if I spoke it. But sometimes that piece will be there and I'll speak it like 3 separate times because I'm not sure if I said that one piece or not yet. Does that make sense? And I ask that question, does that make sense, all the time? Because I'm not sure if I'm describing the things up here with the right words. The words come out really jumbled and not as intelligent as my brain actually is because, again, it can't keep up. I also did start a manifestation series on my channel, and I had to put that on pause. I'm still going to be creating videos for it, but the amount of effort I was putting into those videos and the amount of time that it took for me to edit or plan and film and edit is just a lot. And I've had a lot on my plate. I just traveled to Hawaii and I also had a client come here for a private retreat. It was really fun. My brain's hopping around so much right now. I guess because I'm mentioning that, I'll touch on some of the things that have been going really well lately. And that is, again, I just had a client here and we did a private retreat and we got such great photos and videos and she was so happy. She was just blown away by her experience, like eager to write testimonials because she loved it so much. And she even came here feeling uncomfortable to be on camera. And by the end of it, she's like, I feel so good about myself. And she gets to use all of that for her business. So that was something that I absolutely love to do. And then I got to go to Hawaii. So Hawaii was a free trip because I got to go with my parents. I also won a free 5-night stay at the super expensive luxury resort we were at. So I get to go stay at this like $1,000 a night resort sometime within this next year. So that was really cool. That's a good thing. I also met like Joel McHale, who's an actor in the show Community, and he has a new show out as well. And I also had a professional speaker who does like TED Talks. I met her and she wants to help me get into speaking. That's a whole different story. So there are good things going on, but with all of those things that have been great, like my client coming and going to Hawaii, it's just felt like so much pressure and time restraint to get videos out. And on top of that, I have a masterclass that I'm hosting this Tuesday, which I might as well just share it here, but I have a masterclass called the Into the Magic Masterclass, which definitely goes with the vibes of what I did with my client who came and filmed videos and we did photos, because it's about content creation and showing up online authentically, which kind of goes with the theme of this video, because this is me just going like, we're stripping it down and just being real right here and right now. So if you're someone who wants to create on social media, because let's be honest, it's a big part of society, like you kind of have to know how to show up like this online if you want to have your own business or if you want to create impact. I have 15 years of experience. So the Into the Magic Masterclass I'm hosting this Tuesday, May 7th at 1 p.m. PST. Come join. It's all about sharing your magic online. I'll go into some of the technical things because I know all the technical stuff. If you haven't seen, I'm really good at editing and making videos. And I also am really good at showing up on camera. And sometimes that is more in a scripted way where I have my videos planned out and I'm like cheery. And then sometimes it's like, let me just word vomit and share how I feel. Some of my best videos that have created the most impact have been the ones that are just stripped down and I'm crying and I'm just being honest, and that's what people connect with. And so many people are afraid of just being like, yo, things suck right now and I'm having a human experience and it feels like a lot. Most people want to show up online or feel like they have to show up online perfect, but like, what is perfect? I'm not perfect, that's for sure. Oh my gosh, ADHD brain. Wait, before I go to that. So if you want to come to the Into the Magic Master class this Tuesday, I really hope you'll join. I will link that down below. Like, I really would love for you to join if you have any interest in showing up online. And if you hate the state of the internet right now, like it feels so overwhelming and overstimulating, and maybe you have ADHD as well and your brain wants to explode because of all the overstimulation, this will definitely be your jam too, because I'm here to promote creating impact online and not just creating more chaos and noise. So sign up. But going back to previous thoughts in my ADHD brain, I left LA in 2021, the end of 2021. And I feel like my life started getting more roller coastery 2021, before I even left California. You guys know what happened in 2020. We were on like a detour in 2020, having a little like field trip in life for like a different experience. And people weren't going to work. 2020 is when everyone started showing up online and creating videos. It was overwhelming for me because and not just because everyone was showing up online and creating videos, but it was overwhelming for me because, for one, I've been creating videos before Instagram was a thing, before like influencers were a thing. Not only was everyone showing up online in 2020 and it's just got like really saturated, but people got really harsh. At the beginning of 2020, I got the Rona. I got the Rona. I know certain words still get flagged here, but I got the Rona early 2020. And not a lot of people had it at that point. People genuinely thought if you get it, you're a goner at that point because so few people had it. But my friends and I, because we don't like the rules, we would get together in our little pod, like our group of 5 friends would just get together. We'd not be around other people, but we'd come together and go to like Airbnb so we could have some socializing. I was living by myself. I didn't want to just be alone. So we got together, and in San Diego, things were like kind of open. Like you could actually go out and about in San Diego. So I was like, let's go to San Diego and go do things. And we went shopping. The next week, every single person in that group had the Rona, and I didn't get tested for it. I still have never gotten tested for it. I'm not even gonna go into that. That's a whole can of worms to open up. But several of them got tested, and I was sick as well. I lost my taste for a month, and I lost my sense of smell for like 6 months. I 100% absolutely had it. My friends got tested positive. I was sick as well, lost my senses, yada, yada, yada. But I also didn't have like a big fever or anything. The worst part was I had like a lot of head pressure. I was exhausted, fatigued, and my taste and smell were off. And because no one had really, well, I mean, some people had, but like most people hadn't had it at that point. And so I made a video to share my experience. And I was like, hey, I just want to let you guys know that this happened and I'm actually okay. Like, it's not a death sentence. And I just was open and honest about my experience. And I also put out there, like, I didn't personally get tested, but my friends did. I have all the symptoms. I'm sick as well. I 100% had it. And like within minutes of posting that video, like people's claws were out and attacking me for saying my truth and sharing my experience and telling me how irresponsible I was to share that I was okay, because then that's gonna make other people think it's not that serious and all this stuff. It was just really harsh. And I can say it was in that moment, because I deleted the video right away. As soon as I started getting like hounded by people, I deleted the video and I pulled back off of line. I just was like, okay, my platform is about seeing the beauty in life, manifestation, creating the life that you want. And we were in a period of time where people seemed to not want to hear that from me or from anyone, because they were so like, oh my gosh, the world is burning and we're all dying. Like, that was the mentality, and they didn't seem to want to hear other from me. And so I stopped. And that is when the state of my YouTube channel changed, and I lost my consistency, and I didn't want to show up anymore. And I also got into coaching that year, so I was able to shift my focus. I would occasionally post videos, but I really shifted my focus and put most of my effort into coaching, and would inconsistently drop YouTube videos. And it was what feels like the downfall of my channel. Then when I left LA in 2021 because things were still like kind of locked down. Like they were opening up a little bit, but my lease was up and I didn't want to pay for a luxury apartment that I couldn't go and do cool things. So I put my stuff in storage and I was gonna travel. Tried to travel. That was kind of exhausting. I had fun, but I felt super ungrounded. I then ended up at my parents' house to try to figure out what I wanted to do. Got super in debt while I was traveling because my YouTube channel was dying, and what once was a space where I would make at least $2,000 a month from my views alone dried up because I stopped being consistent ever since that incident in 2020. And I was burnt out from trying to travel and didn't have the energy to take on coaching clients. So my money was dried up as well. And that was a big reason where I'm like, I need to stay at my parents' right now and like figure out what I'm doing because I feel super lost. And I had some rest, and during that time my income started to shift. I had a $73,000 launch by the end of 2022. I got my tiny house, which was great. I was in a relationship and I also experienced a massive heartbreak from that relationship. So it was interesting because that heartbreak was happening like right when I was getting my tiny house. So it was like this crazy thing is happening where I was previously in massive debt, and then I had a massive coaching program launch, was able to get my tiny house and then go through like one of the most horrific heartbreaks ever. And so I've just noticed that these last few years, like great things have happened. Like I got my house, I won a freaking free trip to Hawaii. Like I've had a $73,000 launch, even with my YouTube views not being that great. This year, I filled my coaching program with 50 people, the most I've ever had for this year, 2024. But with that being said, good things have been happening, but I think it's just like I've been really lonely, especially with that heartbreak. I still love him. He still loves me. We'll occasionally get together for coffee, but that's it. And other than that, I don't really have people that I see besides when I have clients come here or friends come here very occasionally, or I'll travel to go see friends, but it's not very often. And I think that's what's been so difficult, like just not having my people around me. And again, I hear the people saying,
Well, just move back to LA.
don't tell me what to do. I don't feel called to move anywhere right now. And honestly, it's tax season. And as a solo entrepreneur, self-employed, I have a lot of expenses, and tax season wipes me dry. Like, I will tell you, I would love to change this story. If it's around tax season, I'm probably in an anxious space where I'm just like, this is so much. Because again, I have ADHD. I'm not good with numbers. I'm not good with like setting things aside for taxes and keeping track of all that through the year. It's a lot. So it's always a pain. So that's what I'm experiencing right now. And on top of that, I'm supposed to make videos, which making YouTube videos to the extent that I want to be able to make them is almost like a full-time job in itself. And then on top of that, there's coaching, and then there's Instagram. Now there's Threads. There's all the things. It's so much to do. Like, being a human is so complicated. Do you agree? Like, being a human is really freaking complicated. And sometimes it sucks. But sometimes, and oftentimes, it's magical. Like, when I'm talking about all the magic of life, like I genuinely experience that. But then there are seasons where it's like I am a little caterpillar that just climbed into its cocoon, and I'm just like turning to mush and goo, and it's uncomfortable. And after a little while, I'll bust out of that chrysalis and be a butterfly, but I'm still not quite back to butterfly yet. I just want this online space and my platform to be a place where I can be a real human and connect with other real humans, and it not have to feel like I have to keep up with the algorithm or constantly be selling things or promoting things. Oh, that's another thing. Just like working with different people and seeing different experts online talk about how to succeed online and yada yada yada. I've had so much of their input seep into my brain around like, you gotta have a hook and your thumbnail and your title and all these things. And the more I've taken those things in, the worse things have gone here. Sitting down to film this video, I sat here for 15 minutes going like, what do I say in the first 5 minutes? Like, what am I gonna title this video? All those things that are important, because if you don't have a good title and a good thumbnail, people aren't gonna click on it, and then it goes to waste. And I spend so much time on my videos for it to not be at least generating AdSense anymore. I mean, I'll get a couple $100s of AdSense, but the amount of hours I put into the work I do, I could cry. Like, I put so much effort and hours into things, and it's just not working the way it once did. I still get business, like I've been able to get coaching clients, but I really want like my YouTube channel alone to be the supportive factor, and I don't have to rely on working with clients. I love to do so, but sometimes I just want to focus on my own thing. So I put a lot of work here, and again, I get the input of just do what you want and we'll still show up, but it hasn't worked that way for me so far. That's what I'm feeling right now. Just a reminder though, I would love for you to join the Into the Magic Masterclass, all about showing up online in your magic, which is really just showing up authentically. It's gonna be a few weeks, I feel, before I have the capacity to do like an in-depth, full quality edited video. Like, I need to give myself space and not feel the pressure of needing to do that because it takes so long. With that being said, with these not so heavily edited, they can still be vlog style maybe. Oh, that's another thing. Oh, I already told you that the strategy guy was like, vlogs aren't it, don't do vlogs. And I was like, what? Sometimes that's like all that I can have time for. I'm like, let me just film what I'm doing in my day. And he's like, no, those are dying. But I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Anyway, over these next few weeks, I'm putting the manifestation series on pause and taking it easy, but I still want to post videos. Let me know what you would like to see. Maybe it's even me just talking more about specific topics that I touched on in my ADHD brain in this video. But that is all. Again, sign up for the masterclass. Hope to see you there. Thanks if you made it this far. I appreciate you so much. I really hope that I don't get to the point where I'm just like, delete channel, throw it all away, scrap all things in my life currently, and let's start fresh, because it's not what I want, but sometimes I want that. And that is all. All right, bye.